Welcome to day 3 of Exponents. Today we're going to learn how to raise a power to a power and product to a power. Here are some more multiplication properties of exponents. The first question is, what is x squared to the 4th power? Remember in previous lessons that we expanded the product numbers leaving x squared as x squared. So x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared. We wrote it 4 times because our exponent outside the parentheses is a 4. Now we're going to expand all the x squareds into the product of numbers. So x times x, x times x, x times x, x times x. Lastly, we're going to count all the x's and write our answer as one exponent. We have 8 x's. So x squared to the 4th power is x to the 2 times 4, which is x to the 8th. So the property raising a power to a power in words is just to raise a power to a power, multiply the exponents. If at any time during the video you need to pause to keep up with the notes, press pause and resume when you are ready. Algebraically, this can be written as a to the m power to the nth power equals a to the m times n. So in the examples, 5 to the 4th power squared would just be 5 to the 4 times 2, or 5 to the 8th power. M cubed to the 5th power would just be m to the 3 times 5, or m to the 15th power. So here's one example, simplifying a power raised to a power. What is the simplified form of n to the 4th power raised to the 7th? Remember, we multiply, so n to the 4 times 7 equals n to the 28th power. Pause the video here as you do the U try A, B, and C. In C, don't forget your negative exponent rule. Okay, let's look at A. P to the 5th power raised to the 4th is P to the 5 times 4, or P to the 20th. Letter B. P to the 4 times 5 is also P to the 20th. Letter C. P to the negative 5 times 4 is P to the negative 20th. But negative exponents are not allowed, so because it is in the numerator, it must be placed into the denominator as P to the 20th. 20th becomes positive. Let's look at another example that's a little bit more difficult. What is the simplified form of y cubed times y to the 5th to the negative 2? First of all, we have to do the power to a power. So y cubed, and then we have to multiply 5 times negative 2. This now gives us y cubed times y to the negative 10. We must pull in previous rules. So when you multiply like bases, you add exponents. So 3 plus a negative 10 is a negative 7. And once again, I see that I have a negative exponent, which are not allowed, so I put it into the denominator and make the 7 positive. Pause the video now as you do the U try. Okay, letter A. First of all, we write x squared, and we have to raise the second part to a power. So 6 times negative 3. This now gives us x squared times x to the negative 18. You then must add your exponents to get negative 16. And again, we have a negative exponent, so 1 over x to the positive 16. The second letter, B, once again, we have to multiply. So it's w to the negative 2 times w to the 7 times 3, which is 21. Then we add our exponents to get w to the 19th power. Notice it is positive, so we are done. Letter C. We have to raise r to the negative 5th to the negative 2 by multiplying, and then multiply that by r to the cubed. R to the 10th times r cubed. We're now adding exponents to get r to the 13th. Putting a lot of rules together. Here's another property, raising a product to a power. Let's see what happens here. First of all, to raise a product to a power, you must raise each factor in the parentheses to the power and multiply. Algebraically, this looks like a, b, which are multiplying together to the nth power, equals a to the n, b to the n. Let's look at one example. 3x raised to the 4th power is 3 to the 4th times x to the 4th. 3 to the 4th is actually 81, so 81 x to the 4th. Let's try another example. What if it were 3x squared to the 4th power? Remember, we would have to take 3 to the 4th power, because 1 times 4 is 4, and then we'd have to take 2 times 4 to get 8. And as we've seen previously, 3 to the 4th is 81 x to the 8th. Putting a lot of rules together. Okay, so let's try problem 3, simplifying a product raised to a power. Here we have a square, and we'd like to find the area of a square. Remember, it's length times width, but because both sides of a square are the same, we can actually just square the side. So we would get 5x cubed, and we're going to square that whole expression. 5 squared, because remember there's a 1 times 2, and x 3 times 2. And we get 5 squared x to the 6th power. Another way to write this would be 5 to 25 x to the 6th. Pause the video here as you do the U try. Okay, let's look at letter A. To expand this out, we're going to go 7 cubed, because 1 times 3 is 7. M to the 9 times 3, m to the 27. 7 cubed is 343, m to the 27. Letter B, 2 to the 1 times negative 4, z to the 1 times negative 4. That gives you 2 to the negative 4, z to the negative 4. Both are negative, so both have to move to the denominator. So then you get 1 over 2 to the 4th, z to the 4th. 2 to the 4th power is 16, so 16 z to the 4th. Letter C, 3 to the 1 times negative 2, g to the 4 times negative 2. 3 to the negative 2, g to the negative 8. Both are negative and must move to the denominator. 3 squared, g to the 8th. 3 squared is 9, so 1 over 9 g to the 8th power. One more problem. We have more than one base now, but be careful. You only combine those powers with the same base. We're going to use a lot of rules. So the first example is, what is the simplified form of n to the 5th squared times 4mn to the negative 2 cubed? So let's do the first part. N to the 5th squared is n to the 5 times 2. The second part, we have to cube everything. So it becomes 4 to the 1 times 3, m to the 1 times 3, n to the negative 2 times 3. N to the 10th times 4 cubed, m cubed, n to the negative 6. Notice how you have an n to the 10th and an n to the negative 6. So you must add those exponents together. N to the 4th power. I don't notice any other bases that are the same, but I can expand 4 cubed to get 64, m cubed, n to the 4th power. Pause the video, but before you do the U-tries, remember all of your previous rules that you have learned and put them all together. Pause now. Okay, letter A. I would get x to the negative 4 times negative 3. I'm going to put that in parentheses though, because it's a negative number, and raise it to the 4th power. X to the 4th, y to the 5 times 4, which is 20. Notice how you have two x's. I need to add exponents. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so x to the 0 power. Negative 3 to the 4th power is 81. Please be careful with the negative. And then y to the 20. Remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. So your answer would be 81 y to the 20th power. Let's look at B. 3 to the 4th power, c to the 20th, 5 times 4. C to the 6th, 2 times 3. I notice I have two c's. They're being multiplied together, so I add exponents. 3 to the 4th is 81. C to the 26th. Letter C. 6 cubed, a cubed, b cubed times 5 squared, a to the negative 6. 6 cubed is 216. I'm going to combine my a's to get a to the negative 3, b cubed, and 5 squared is 25. I now have to multiply 216 and 25 to get 5,400. My a to the negative 3 needs to move to the denominator and become positive a cubed. My b cubed stays where it is in the numerator. Letter D. Negative 2 cubed. Negative 2 cubed. M to the 6th, 2 times 3. N to the 9th, 3 times 3. 3 to the 4th. M to the 12th, which is 3 times 4, and n to the 4th. Now I have to do some combining. So negative 2 cubed is negative 8. Oh yes, put negative 2 in parentheses. Is negative 8. The exponent is not negative, so it does not move to the denominator. M to the 6th and m to the 12th, by adding them, I get m to the 18th. N to the 9th, n to the 4th, I get n to the 13th. And 3 to the 4th power, as we've seen before, is 81. I now have to multiply negative 8 times 81 to get negative 648, m to the 18th, n to the 13th. Remember, you can pause at any time. So now it's time for you to practice. Pause the video and try all of these problems. I'm only going to put up the answers, so make sure you understand, once you check your answers, how you got to those answers. Okay, question 1, v to the 8th power. Question 2, a to the 35th power. Question 3, n to the negative 24th. Now that looks a little strange, so we're going to write it differently, but remember, it's negative 24, so it must move to the denominator, 1 over n to the 24th power. 4. Looks like h to the 31st power. 5, x to the 12th, y cubed. Do not combine the x and y. They are different variables. 6 is 3 to the 5th, which is 243, q to the 5th. Seven, a to the 24th, b to the 10th. 8, m to the 16th, and 0 times 4 is 0, so anything to the 0 power is 1. One over 16t to the 12th. Let's look at this one. 2 to the negative 4, t to the negative 12. That is why both of them have to move to the denominator. 10, rewritten so it looks a little bit more normal. 1 over 120 125 k to the 27th. Remember, 5 to the negative 3 must move to the denominator to give you a positive 125, and k to the negative 27 must also move to the denominator. 11. 27s to the 14th. 12. b to the 5th, c to the 15th. 13, nice and easy. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Don't forget that. 14, f divided by g. All of that just reduces down to f divided by g. 15, a to the 7th, b to the 5th. 16, 25 divided by x to the 4th, y to the 28th, z to the 20th. 17, c to the 26th, divided by d to the 9th. And last, but certainly not least, 112 u cubed divided by t to the 17th. Please don't forget to put this into your interactive notebook, and I hope you have a great day.